What's going on, fragrance family? It's your man Gator, better known as the novice nose out here in these fragrance streets. And guys, let's just jump into it, man. The scent of the day today is a fragrance that a lot of you guys have reached out to me about here. I brought it in on a haul about a month and a half ago or so, and I've got to wear it quite a few times here over that month and a half. A lot of you guys reached out to me about the wearing experience on it. Now, this thing kind of flew under the radar a little bit here. I hadn't really had much fanfare or anything like that. As a matter of fact, it was only on my radar thanks to Ross over there at TLTG. Shout out to Ross for the info there. He actually did a video about maybe 6 months or 7 months ago, actually, detailing some of the upcoming releases according to iFragranceOfficial.com, and this was one of those fragrances that was on that list. Now, again, got released to not much fanfare, but it was definitely on my radar because of the fact that it had some accords and some notes that I was super interested in. Now, the fragrance we're talking about is this guy right here. This is the new Lattafa Asad Zanzibar limited edition. As you can see, it's got that Zanzibar limited edition stamp on here. Other than that, the bottle is basically the same bottle that the original Zanzibar is actually found in. Now, again, the reason I was so interested in this fragrance was because of the note breakdown. Now, speaking of that note breakdown, it's all over the place online, man. They've got the wrong notes for this thing all over. Most of them are just copy paste of the original Zanzibar that they're putting on here in the profile. As a matter of fact, Lattafa themselves actually did a copy paste on the profile of the old Zanzibar notes. They do that with a lot of fragrances. I don't know what's going on with Lattafa's media team, but that happens a lot with them. But here are the correct notes here for this fragrance, thanks to iFragranceOfficial here. So top notes are going to be lavender and pink pepper. The middle notes are going to be cinnamon, black soap, and cashmere. Then the mid notes are going to be tonka bean, amber, cedarwood, and sandalwood. Now, the note that really had me super excited was that black soap accord. So let me go just put this on the skin right quick. Decent atomizer, of course, is normal fare with Lattafa. Decent. So the black soap accord is a favorite of mine thanks to one of my favorite designer releases here in the last couple of years. It's this guy right here. This is Invictus Parfum. Now, I don't know if you can see the dent in this thing, but it's got a nice dent in here right now. You can kind of see the fluid a little bit here, but it's got a nice dent in here, and for good reason. This fragrance is such a beautifully done fragrance, a compliment magnet, so rich, luxurious. That black soap accord really sets that thing off in the mids here. It's such a unique fragrance, man. And a lot of fragrance companies don't use that black soap accord. They not only did it, but they did it well. So when I saw black soap on there and the way that it was, the note breakdown was going, I was like, is this going to be an inspired by or clone of that fragrance? Well, I'm glad to say, some of you may not be glad to hear, but I'm glad to say it is not a clone of the Invictus Parfum. Now, this is going to be taking its own direction here. There are some real similarities in the dry down, though, to where you can kind of pick it up a little bit. But when you first spray this fragrance on, right, you're getting this beautifully soft, kind of subtle, or supple, I should say, lavender. So it really is a lavender that's kind of embracing its floral aspects, right? It's not even super soapy, not that kind of astringent and sharp kind of lavender. It's just really soft, really floral, kind of almost like a delicate vibe there, right? So in the background, you've got this pink pepper that's really there just for a slight bit of texture. It's not even like an effervescent style of pink pepper like you find in a lot of fragrances that kind of gives it kind of like almost a carbonated kind of vibe. It's nothing like that. It's just there for just a slight little tad bit of texture in the background. Now, the thing that kind of threw me off a little bit here in the opening is that it also comes across slightly creamy. So at first I thought I was tripping, man, because, you know, I was like, oh, is it the blue bottle? Am I smelling like coconut? Am I smelling like a creamy coconut that's going on here? Because it is kind of slightly, just slightly sweet here in that opening. And it's kind of slightly creamy. But I think what you're getting here is actually the influence of the tonka bean in here. So that tonka bean, it can go kind of creamy and give it kind of like a little bit of a subtle a subtle sweet vibe in the background here. It can go kind of powdery too if you got a stronger tonka bean, but it kind of adds those aspects, and it's done actually beautifully in here, because I really believe that's where you're getting that little bit of a creaminess, a little bit of that little subtle sweetness coming from in the opening here. So you're getting that mix of that creaminess from, and subtle sweetness from the tonka bean, that soft, clean. It's not super soapy, but it's a clean, soft floral kind of lavender mixed in with that little texture, just a tad little bit of texture from that pink pepper. It makes for a very smooth opening. It's very smooth, very inviting when you smell it. So, and slightly warm. It's a little bit warmer than I thought it would be. Like when you think of soap fragrances that are super clean, a lot of times you don't think of warmth. And this one actually has a little bit of a warmth to it when you first spray it on. Now, as it kind of goes into that dry down, you're getting that for the most part of about, you know, maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes. At around that 30-minute or so mark here, you start kind of getting the aspects of the black soap. Now, a lot of people are like, what does black soap smell like? So black soap is kind of like this like earthy style of soap. Most of them have kind of like a little bit of a lavender vibe in them to kind of give it a soapy feel. But for the most part, they're kind of like colored and guided by the earthy aspects of it. The patchouli is used a lot in these. I've seen like cacao used in some. It's not really like a gourmandy kind of darkness and earthiness here, but it definitely gives it a more grounded, deep, rich kind of vibe to that soap here. Still kind of a clean essence, but I call it like a hippie soap. Basically, it's one of those soaps that, you know, when you use that soap, you definitely smell like a patchouli bomb kind of. That's kind of what you get from black soap, depending on who makes it, because there's all kind of varieties of black soap, but black soap in general is that. Well, the thing with this one is that it's a black soap, but it's not the same style of black soap that's in Invictus Parfum. The black soap Invictus Parfum is very rich, very dense. It's got this beautiful, almost luxurious kind of vibe to it, man. It's almost, it just feels super high quality. Comparing that one to this one is like comparing like a black soap that you might find in like a Saks or somewhere like that if they sell like black soaps, one of those high-end kind of black soap scenarios, to like a black soap that you find in like a flea market that somebody made in a little home vat and put out there. It's that kind of difference between the way that the black soaps are. So not saying this is completely just low quality, but it's not the same quality. And therefore it doesn't smell as luxurious and all that kinds of stuff here. It's not quite as deep and rich. But what it does add to this, it adds a little bit of an earthiness here and a little bit of a soapiness as well. So I told you initially that lavender is more of like a clean but not overly soapy or astringent kind. As that black soap kind of comes in, that black soap really kind of allows the fragrance to kind of take on a little bit of a soapy vibe here. Still very clean, slightly creamy, but it's really nice the way it transitions. Like I said, not the quality that you would find in the Invictus Parfum at all, but the black soap really does add something to this. Now, that's where you kind of get a little bit also of the comparison between the two. There is a subtle sweetness in here. It's not the same type of sweetness that you would find in the Invictus. Any Invictus, they have their own signature sweetness. This one does not have that. It's kind of, like I said, more of just a little subtly sweet kind of thing in the background here. But the way that the black soap plays in here, you do kind of get vibes of Invictus Parfum when you smell this. Now, like I said, it's not a clone, not a one-to-one, nothing like that. This is definitely more of a twist on that style of DNA. As a matter of fact, I don't even think it's that. I think it's just another fragrance that uses black soap, and because it uses black soap, it kind of smells similar to Invictus Parfum. But at the same time, it actually does add something to this fragrance. This fragrance is really nice when it goes into that dry down. Now, here's the part that kind of threw me completely off. So as you get into like about that hour or so, right? Imagine walking across the street and somebody just hits you, like you got your eyes closed, you're walking across the street, it's nighttime, and somebody just hits you with a shot from out of nowhere. You know, you don't even see it coming. No idea where it came from. The cinnamon in here does that. There's a cinnamon note that is in here that really, as you get into like that hour, it's like it comes in at the same time. Like you had a little bit of the sandalwood initially when it kind of opens up, but it really starts to like pop off when that cinnamon pops in. It's almost like you drop a cinnamon stick. And this is not like a you know, standard or perfumey type of cinnamon. This is like a culinary type of cinnamon. This is one of those cinnamons you open up your cupboard and you screw the top off, and that's the kind of cinnamon that you're getting out of here. Like I said, almost kind of a cinnamon sticky kind of vibe here, because you do get a little bit of woodiness that kind of comes in at the same time with the cinnamon, but it really hits you like a train, and it overpowers the scent to where a lot of the soapiness that was there, the sweetness and all that kind of stuff, it really just kind of goes off to the wayside, and you're kind of left with this big, slightly creamy, but mostly cinnamon woody bomb that hits you. And that kind of stays that way for about 20-30 minutes. By the time that kind of subsides, you still do have a little bit of the soapiness from the black soap in there, but it's kind of joined in marriage with the cinnamon at that point in the woods. So you have, like towards the end of the fragrance here, that 2 hours in, you're getting basically just cinnamon, woods with a slight little pinning of an undercurrent of sweetness, creaminess. That's really what you got out of this fragrance. And that's all you get out of this fragrance, because you're not gonna have much more of a progression or longevity. So performance-wise on this fragrance, I'm getting right now on skin somewhere in the range of about 6 hours, right? You get it mostly cinnamon dominant after that hour and a half to 2 hours. Projection on this one is about arm length here for that first hour, and then it just completely falls off. Like by the time the cinnamon starts to back away, that's like the cinnamon really is the strong point. So once it backs away after that hour and a half or so, it starts to kind of, you know, come down to like a spicy woody style of fragrance here. The performance completely drops to where it's basically like a glorified skin scent, and then at like hour 3 to 4, it is just a skin scent. So that's really all you pick up. Sillage on this thing is somewhere in about a 3 hour to 4 hour vibe here. People will still smell you if you're moving around a little bit for that first 4 hours or so, but that's really about it. That being said, this is actually not a bad fragrance. There's nothing to write home about. It's not something that people are gonna just be like, oh my God. And I think that's why it wasn't released to a whole lot of fanfare. It's not uber special or anything like that. But it is a solid fragrance when you're talking about maybe doing a gym scent. Oh, actually, take all that back. This is the perfect gym bro scent. Because it's got this warmth to it. This is sexy gym bro type scent. This is sexy. I could say maybe even a gym girl could pull this off, but this is that type of fragrance to where it's something that's a little bit different than what you would kind of smell in the gym, because everybody wants to do fresh citric, This is actually fresh soapy, but at the same time, it's got a little bit of character to it with a little bit of a creaminess to it and a little bit of a overload of spiciness going into the dry down. So it'd be great for that mark, but also this is just a great pickup to grab and go. Like I'm just running to the store, let me shoot, and run out the store. run out to the store. It's that kind of fragrance here. Nothing super special, but it's also not priced the same. I think it's like, I got it at $22. Asad Elixir's like 50 something. So it's definitely not quite the same price range as the other ones, but it's still on par quality wise with the other Asads. So I would say, it's not a bad pickup if you want something that's going to be just a little fresh diversion here from your normal super generic freshies. Then this might be one to kind of keep your eye on here and bring it in. It's not costing you very much to do it. That's all I got for this one, guys. Have you put your nose on this one? Let me know in the comments, guys. And as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, share this video with somebody you know that loves fragrances. Like I say, it's a like for me, not even a strong like. I like it. It's not something that, you just gotta have in your collection, but it's something that's decent, and it might be a decent grab and go. If it sounds interesting, try it out. And as we always say, guys, whatever you're doing, however you're doing it, make sure you make today the best day ever on purpose. Peace out.